Morning and afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You're back here with us, Mount Schmoedown on the Schmo to the North Network. Now, I would love to go into an entire spiel right now, but as you can all see on your screens, and trust me, you are not being deceived. Not only are we going to be talking about the one and only Smasher, Kevin Smets, but we are joined by Mr. John Kaiser himself, the head honcho, the godfather of the dungeon.
I like that. The godfather of the dungeon. I've never been called that before.
Yep.
I'm going to steal that, Ryan.
No, go for it, man. Honestly, it's like seriously. When it comes with the dungeon, I mean, you're not just announcements with the dungeon. I mean, you seriously coined the term. You and Kevin blazed a trail in the Schmoedown to where now, like even though Smets he is taking himself out, you still are holding down the fort at pretty much the whole house that you have built. So by the time Smets does make his triumphant return, it's literally going to be like a goddamn bulldozer going through a rainforest where you guys are just gonna just.
He's already studying. He's already getting ready. But don't make no mistake. He's been in the front office of the dungeon all season long, helping to pull the strings, training people. So he's still putting in the work. He's just not putting it in on the table. But listen, man, he's watching all the Mad Max movies. He's getting ready for the new, the new slices that are on there for IG, and he's working his butt off, man. He can't wait to play again. But he's in the home stretch of another fight, and I will see his ass today. Not his ass, but I'm gonna see his ass today. We're gonna go get some sushi, and I'm really fired up. Every time I get to hang out with that dude, it's always a good day. He's just one of those cats that puts a smile on your face no matter how crappy you're feeling. He always picks you up, and he really is a brother, man. I'm proud to call him my friend.
God, this is. I mean, seriously, if I wasn't excited to talk about Smets now, I'm literally speechless. I mean, let's just get started with this. I mean, with Kevin coming into the Schmoedown, of course, many of the stories talked about when, of course, the constant stories I've heard, the video I saw of his audition to where he dressed up as Macho Man and as a wrestling.
Oh, Lord, don't remind me.
Okay, I won't. But as a wrestling fan, I 100% respect. I respect the commitment, but just seeing him come on in, myself, Ben, and John, as we rewatched all those three matches, just his early season going up against David Moore, Hector Navarro, Dave Washington. I swear to God, that's literally like lightning in a bottle. I was just floored.
You got to give Jay Washington a lot of credit in helping to put us over for real, because I think everyone knows I love Jay to death. He's literally one of the funniest human beings in the world. He's such a good pal. And man, we went at it, fought tooth and nail, and we put on a hell of a show. And I really got to thank Jay a lot, because he was an OG of the Schmoedown, and he really helped put us over, and I feel like I'm trying to do that now. Like I feel like I helped put Tommy Harper over, you know what I mean? In his match versus Witt. Like, talk about, if you're going to go up against someone in your first match and you're going up against the dungeon and you beat the dungeon, you know what I mean? To me, it says something. Like, he could have, and not to take anything away from any other faction or any other manager, but I think we did a similar thing for Harper that Jay did for us in helping to put his character over and put him over. So big shout out to Jay, because that was a real fun match, and Jay don't like to lose either. So, Jay was full of piss and vinegar.
I mean, I would love to keep talking here, but Ben, John, guys, I mean, pretty much that whole storyline. I mean, I love the Twitter battle the post on Facebook was amazing. I know, John, you definitely got some thoughts on hand. So before, your phone decides to say, screw this, I'm out, let's get you going, man.
All right, man. But no, Kaiser, seriously, dude, I love the that whole entire thing was fire. I'm going to be honest with you. The back and forth with Jay, just doing that whole entire deal where it's just back and forth through the whole entire Twitter feed, tweets and everything was just great. And then you get into the match, and then it's just lightning in a bottle.
Jay in his promo called me the worst Uber passenger in the history of Uber. Now that, because I did my promo in the car, and being driven around. And he called me that man. He crushed us. I love him. I see people forget, like they think I love being like when people make fun of me and they get one on me. I actually enjoy it. I had that conversation with Shannon the other day. I'm like, you better pick your game up or I'm going to start writing your damn material because you ain't come at me hard enough yet this season. So
right. Here's the thing. I love smack talking. I like dirty talk and stuff like that as well. So if you're not smack talking, if we're not up on that same level, I'm going to end up coming back at you too. So I actually relate to that. And,
well, John, they know I'm coming with it, so they better be ready.
Right,
you know?
Exactly, man, exactly. And what I like about you and Smets was this: you guys didn't come in there for no championship belts or anything like that. You came in there to clean and wreak havoc over there and everything. And then all of a sudden, like I was just telling Ryan and then Ben this too. I was like, he's like, okay. He goes on ahead, crushes one match with the rookie, and then he goes, okay, I want the next person, the next big one. He goes on ahead, gets Hector in there, and then next thing you know it, he goes on from then it's Jay, and then after that it goes into Hector. But man, it's just incredible of how quick he was and efficient with all his answers, especially the multiple choice stuff and things like that. That was just something spot on. He was like the damn Terminator when it came down to that.
Man, I feel like we kind of came into the league like two Terminators. Like we didn't really, we knew a couple people. We had some relationships, but not many. I mean, when we walked into Collider, I felt like we were like on an island, man. Like, because I think when people don't have a read on you, they tend to believe you're really like that. Like if they saw me at the supermarket, I would tip over their cart of groceries. Like they thought I was that dude. Like, I think Emma Fife flat out was like, I'm never talking to this guy no matter what. And then we eventually became friends. You know what I mean? And like,
right.
But like, we kind of planned that, we're like, we're going to come in. And I mean, I've said it before, like I used to go and I'd walk into Kevin Smets' edit bay and I'm like, do you know who the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors are? Oh. He's like, yeah. I mean, I know who they are. I'm like, yeah, okay. And then we would just sit there and for a half hour watch some of their classic, just on the mic, brutalizing people. Like, we're going to be the movie trivia version of these two lunatics. You know what I mean? Like, and that's how we're going to come in to the league. And I said, this is who we are. And if you watch our early promos, I mean, I'm, all that shit I stole flat out from Hawk because I'm friends with those guys, but I was friends. God rest their souls. They're both gone now. But my father was a wrestler back in the day in the American Legion Hall days, like before the WWF blew up. My dad was supplementing his income as a freaking, a jobber, and when he was in the minor leagues before he became a pro umpire. So he made friends with Bobby the Brain Heenan and the Legion of Doom. And Bobby was my idol and still is my idol. I'm still friends with his daughter to this day. I've had dinner with those guys. I've had drinks with those guys. I flat out said, I'm going to emulate my heroes. And Hawk from the Legion of Doom and Bobby Heenan are my two biggest idols in pro wrestling. I thought they were the best on the mic and the best at what they did. And so I really wanted to be like that, and I think that's what I try to do every day, to be honest with you, in this league.
And I'm going to be honest, it really did show. I mean, you did say, look back at your early promos. Those promos still stick with me. I mean, I actually took some notes down on some of the best insults that you threw out there. I mean, I still love in your match against in Smets' perform and debut. That line you said, he's sitting in the trivia dungeon watching 2003's Daredevil. You know why? Because he likes pain. That's it. And as someone who grew up, of course, owning a DVD set of Daredevil, I'm like, you're not wrong.
Hey, come here. Come here, buddy.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Don't worry, that's completely fine.
I'm sorry. I had to get my pig was squealing. I'm sure you'll probably never have a guest on the show whoever says, sorry, I had to step away for a minute because my pig was acting up.
We've had guests that had to step away for other reasons. We've had, other than internet issues kicking us off. I mean, it's still fun, but
so thank you. I'm glad. I forgot I even said that. I forgot half the shit that comes out of my mouth. So that was.
You and Smets had some good moments, honestly, not just in the matches, but also in the post interviews. Actually, one of my favorite lines Smets said is still in that match against Hector Navarro, where he says you threw him in the dungeon and you force fed him nothing but red vines and Diet Dr. Pepper. I don't know why, but it just stuck with me.
Yeah, that's probably something I tend to write and script a lot of my stuff. But there's sometimes I just, you don't have that fortune of time to write things. And, a good example, like Roddy Piper appeared as though he just, that shit came off the cuff. But if you watch the documentary about him, they show you he had notebooks full of notes and things that he would go use in Piper's Pit. And I use the same approach, to be honest with you, because I'm a writer, at heart. And I'm a film school nerd, and I'm a write screenplays with my writing partner, and I have to do that shit. Like, I remember saying to Tom Dagnino, like, in the first, like, I don't know, month I was in the Schmoedown, I'm like, you script any of this? He's like, no, I don't script anything. I've never taken one note in my life. And that's how Tom is. Tom is a very great off the cuff. I'm okay at I'm not the world's best improver, I'll be honest with you, but that's Tom's shtick, and he's great at it. Some of those guys are, a guy like Ken Knapsack is just that is just a comedy wizard. That guy's just gonna come up with stuff. But honestly, if I don't write it and I don't rehearse it, like sometimes, it just, it won't. It's not as good as if I don't rehearse it and I don't script it, I feel like I'm not doing my job. You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh, 100%. Even nowadays when all three of us are hosting, we always try to think of something clever, funny to sign off, or just something to great references or analogies. And even then, when we try to do it off the cuff, it just feels like, wait, that didn't sound right. And then you rewatch this stuff and I go, oh, maybe I should have just wrote something down, because I know Ben and John know when we were talking about Damon, I tried to throw out so many Star Wars references that my internet just kind of crapped out, and I think it was the universe telling me, just write your stuff down. Don't try to be off the cuff.
Right. Well, and a lot of times I workshop stuff with Wit. Me and Adam Witt will just get on text messages back and forth, and I'll be like, oh, I'm thinking of something like this. He's like, no, say it like this, or like, and he's like, make sure you touch on that. So having Wit as a quote unquote writing partner, a creative partner, has been a huge blessing to me, and he's a damn good friend. And because Wit comes from the same sort of school of thought as I do, like, we're putting on a show, we're entertaining people, we're here to do bits. Yes, the competition is intensely real, and the game is intense, and you don't ever want to lose, but it's also important to win or lose, put on a good show, make people laugh, get them on the edge of their seat. And so, Wit and I share that same sort of philosophy.
And it 100%, it definitely shows with especially how you and Kevin came in as a package deal. Christian and Mark did a great job selling you two off like as this great duo coming in, while Kevin 100% a monster in trivia, especially in Inner Geekdom, to where it felt like who are the big challenge, like the hosses out there, or at least the number one guys. And then of course, Smets just going over his record again, or at least seeing the matches. All the way up to Kalinowski, he had nothing but KOs in his matches. Especially, I was live in San Diego when I saw him KO.
Oh, you were at San Diego?
Yeah, front row. I was there and I saw him knock out Lavick. I was just, geez, this is Smasher once again. Nothing can be said of just how scary that was.
He was at a point where nobody wanted to play him. You know what I mean? Like, for good reason. He took, listen, he's the kind of guy, if he says he's going to do something and he puts his heart and his soul in it, forget about it. There is nothing that will stop him. He literally is a real life Hulk. I know we go with the whole smash thing and all that shit, but that man, if he wants to do something and he puts his mind to it, I know it sounds cheesy, but he will not lose. He will not miss. He puts his heart, and that makes, that raises the bar for me, because you got to think about it, is we weren't just put together in the Schmoedown like, oh, it'd be funny if Kaiser was this dude's manager. Like, we legitimately are best friends. So if he's putting in the time, I'm putting in the time, and we really had a ton of fun with it. It was weird how it came into our lives when it did, and especially, because I've known Harloff longer than I've known Smets, and that's what's even crazier about this whole thing. And so you really talk about divine intervention, putting a bunch of pals together in something that we all love doing. And it's been magic, man. I gotta say, it's been a real fun ride these last couple seasons, I gotta say. And look, I would have never done it there's nobody on this planet. Harloff probably could have twisted my arm and said, you should do this thing. I am doing this Schmoedown thing and you'd be fun. And I'm sure if he asked me to do it, I wouldn't have turned him down. But I can't think of any human being who's like, you're going to be my manager they made up my mind for me, by the way. Like, I didn't know I was doing, like, I knew Smets was going in and he knew I was friends with Christian. And when we went to the award show together the season before Smets debuted at the Comedy Store, and Smets is like, yeah, I'm coming in next year and Kaiser's going to be my manager. I'm like, we didn't talk about this, Christian. Like, when he's telling you, and then Christian's like, well, I know he'd be great on the mic, but what does he know about Schmoedown and trivia? And I looked at him. I'm like, first of all, I haven't agreed to anything. Second of all, I don't need to know shit about trivia or the Schmoedown. I'll come in there and light it up either way. So, and then next thing I know, I'm telling you the God's honest truth. We had that conversation about a week past. I get an email, Smets versus David Moore with manager Kaiser, be it Collider at 2:00 or whatever. I'm like, oh, I guess we're doing this. I mean, literally, they made up my mind for me. There was no conversation. Would you be interested? What do you think about doing this? Harloff and Smets just said, you're doing this. And it's crazy. I would have never expected this all to turn out the way it did just based on that conversation that day at the Comedy Store,
That's really amazing, honestly. Look, hold on. Ben, I know I've been dominating here, man. You got any questions or just anything you want to say? I mean, go ahead, man, before I go off the rails.
I just want to say that Hector match is probably still my favorite. How Smith ended. He knew he won away. There's a confidence he had. And that whole him is like, wow.
Man, I'll tell you what, give me Kalinowski.
Oh. Right. And the way that match is great too, he gets opponent's choice and then he's given who said it and he's still able to clean that slice. Even then, quotes, as much as I love Inner Geekdom movies, quotes is definitely so damn difficult because it's like in movie quotes in general. I love a good badass quote or a line every now and then. But it's like if you don't remember the movie from where it's like, oh, this sounds familiar, especially in a trivia match from what I've seen, you're literally like in the gears have stalled in your head to where the hell have I heard that from? But then I see Smets handle it, he just blows through it. I'm just going like, what the hell?
And then I remember something, man. I never watched any of those movies. Okay. I honestly, I was not like, yes, I was a comic book nerd as a kid and I collect comic books, but I'm telling you, I never watched Elektra, and I'll be honest, I've seen one Harry Potter movie to this day. I've seen the first 3 Lord of the Rings. I don't watch those movies. Now I have to because the game has changed and now we've got teammates and now I have to watch this stuff. But like, I wasn't ever planning on, if Smets handed me his index cards, sure, I can run them with him. But like, I was no help to the guy. Like he did it all on his own to start. You know what I mean? And I've kind of morphed into this coaching managerial role. I mean, I was a figurehead, and I've told the story 100 times when it all changed, man. I remember I walking out of when everyone started taking things serious and planning sessions and binders and I'm like, what is this? And Gucci's like, we ain't figureheads anymore. We ain't figureheads anymore, man. It's changed. And from there on in, it's been a different game, man.
Yeah, it really did start. I mean, all 3 of us, Ben, John, and myself, who watched the show earlier, where we're like, "Yeah, let's do this for fun." It's like, "Oh, I know this movie. I love this movie." And then you hear these questions, like, "Great!" And then, of course, yes, hearing everybody from the Schmoedown talk about.
And you said your favorite match with Smets was the Navarro.
Yeah,
Hector Navarro. Yeah,
he's a cool dude, man. I didn't know him from Adam, and meeting him that day, God, you realize what a witty, smart, cool dude he is. I know he had a huge reputation in our community and in this movie space, but what a class act. That dude is a freaking professional, and at the end of it all, I think he just is like I don't think he knew what the hell he was getting into, man. You know what I mean? Like. No. the game had changed at that point. You know, it really had. And guys like Smets and Bateman and Kalinowski, they Parker, Mara, they rewrite the book on how to train. That's for damn sure. Ben and Roca. I mean, sitting backstage with Merle and Roca once, watching them prepare for a match, I'm like, these guys are intense. Like, they take it super serious. Like, you know, so I was learning from those guys, you know, like how they train. So,
yeah, I mean, it really is intimidating hearing all these stories, especially watching backstage every now and then, seeing how they break down everyone's mental headspace and what they do. But so it was always fun with Smets, seeing how, super serious, and then later on he just gets better and better. Also, I mean, actually, speaking of favorite matches, one of my favorite matches was definitely the first time he and Kalinowski played against each other, because it was literally like watching. It felt to me like kind of watching a mental boxing match. Each of them throwing their punches back and forth, waiting to see who's going to land a nice hit. And trust me, I even though trivia matches aside, I've talked to people when I've come breaking down Spider-Man, and even I have messed up constant quotes from that movie. So I remember when people were getting on him about, oh, don't tell Peter, I was just watching like, guys, seriously, how long has it been since people have watched that Spider-Man movie? Do you even remember legit word for word what he said? Everyone still messes up the great power, great responsibility line.
Yeah,
so
everyone's memory gets jogged. It doesn't matter. You could be, you know, the most trained player in the game, and you could come in and you just, dude, your brain just takes a minute off, a second off, and it'll sink you. It's hard to stay in that zone for so long under the lights with the smack talk and all the pressure of winning. And Kalinowski and Smets are straight up the Apollo and Rocky of the Schmoedown. I mean, they started out as mortal enemies, and by the end of it, you know, they're just joking around and they're pals. And I wouldn't be, you know, I mean, it's funny to see their relationship, how it's developed. And, you know, they straight up are the Apollo and Rocky of this league. And hopefully we can reignite that rivalry again someday, man.
I mean, I love that analogy because they both have one apiece against each other. So, and like Apollo and Rocky, they probably did like Apollo and Rocky had that little dark rubber match against each other, but it's to us, it's like we want to see that on screen. Just like I want to see him going up against Chandru again one more time. Him and Chandru to go up against each other because they both got one apiece. Like
Chandru's a powerhouse. Chandru's a powerhouse. If Kalinowski and Smets are the Apollo and the Rocky, then I guess that would make Chandru the Jean-Claude Van Damme. You know, he's just a wild card. That guy, you know, he's like the kickboxer. He's like the Kumite guy coming in, and watch out, man. That guy's lethal. You don't ever want to be going. Oh my God, my pig! Come here, buddy. Sorry, my pig is knocking over trash, and he's just being a pain in the ass.
Perfectly fine.
He's wound up today. He's wound up. I mean, I normally his walk is a little longer, and I don't think he got all his. Why don't you go lay down? Go lay down. Sorry.
No,
but no, Chandru's a man on a mission. I know he wants his belt back. I think he's going to fight tooth and nail, and you know, to do that. But hopefully, you know, we got this guy named Robert Parker who is stepping in this year, and he's really lifting us up. You know, he's doing great things, and he's got the best sparring partner in the world in Mara. And you know, I'm just proud to have. You know, the inner geekdom's always been a point of pride for me in the dungeon, obviously because it's Smets. And I feel very lucky to have Mara and Parker this year to help, you know, to help keep us in the running to be, to own that division. Right now, you know, Mike took the belt back, and that's what Mike does. Mike will not go quietly, and Chandru will not go quietly. But, you know, we're ready for them. We're ready for both of them, and one at a time. But the league, the inner geekdom division is insane. And don't sleep on guys like Amaru and Saul who are nipping at the heels. These guys want to prove that they're the next big thing. And there's no reason they can't be, quite frankly, you know. But, you know, it's going to be, it's going to get exciting. That's for damn sure. It's heating up in the IG for sure. And we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah. I did want to talk a little bit about Kevin's like stats that I took notes on, but Ben, John, you guys have any other like thing you want to ask Kaiser about Smets, or just a match that you had any interesting thoughts on that you wanted to get some insights?
As far as the training goes, training everybody else and stuff like that, how is the training different from training the new guys compared to Smits? I know that has to be a little tough for you to train all those people compared to one person, though, in a sense.
Listen, man, you know, it's like I have 3 matches a week. If you really want to break it down, these guys, they play a match and then, you know, they go and they wait for their next shot, right? And not to say they stop training, but like it's really intense this year, man. I mean, the teams, we have so many players on the roster. There's so much on the line. And now there's a faction title, right? We're all playing for each other. We're not playing just for belts. We're not playing just to be in first place. We're playing for a faction title, a team title, a Super Bowl, a World Series. That changes everything because now everyone's got to pick each other up. There are no days off. It's intense. It's insane. And I'm a madman and I don't know how I'm getting through it. I mean, I do know how I'm getting through it. I got a crazy support system of coaches. They know who they are. Okay. It goes beyond me and Adam Witt, but I've got a legion of friends and coaches who really help me get these guys ready and help take the burden off me a little bit. And,
that's always good.
But I try and attend every one of them. I try and be there as many times as I can. And just some days my schedule won't permit. I don't work banker's hours. I work in television, man, nights, weekends, you know, it's never, come here, stupid.
Like a moment to your, I mean, it's anything.
Sorry, I was talking to the pig again. You know, so it's just, it's intense. It's super, super intense. And, we'll see. I'm just trying to keep it all together at this point, you know?
Right. No, I can see the stakes really are raised compared back then when it was just you and Smets, and then you had Zipper in your group, and then of course with having managed Oyama as well, it really did grow. Like you just went with just having like your own little like you're in a way like your own small little faction, pretty much like with the Road Warriors. Yeah, it was you, Smets, I just said Zipper and Oyama. You guys were your own little like quadrant. And then
that was a cool crew. That was a really fun crew. I love those guys. It's crazy. I still love watching Paul play the game. I love watching Zipper play the game. I keep in touch with those guys, you know. Oyama is putting in an immense amount of work this season, and I know he's training his butt off. And Zipper's gotten better, and you know, it sucks because you want to play with your pals, and I wish I could still play with those guys, you know, but right now they're on the other side of the desk, and we got to go out there and we got to whoop them, but that don't mean we can't be friends afterwards, you know. But those days were so much fun, and I loved hanging with those guys, and you know, maybe down the road we can put something back together again. I'm glad to see that Zip went to Winston because, you know, I know they're buddies, and at the end of the day, it's like if he had to be with anyone, I'm glad it's him, you know. And you know, it's weird how things change, you know, right? But you're at the end of the day, you still pull for your friends. And who the hell doesn't want to watch Paul Oyama play this game? He's one of the best in the league. He's always exciting every time he plays. If you're a fan of the game, you know, you love watching the dude play. If you're a fan of the game, you love watching Kalinowski play. That said, I got to go out there and I got to beat their asses this season. But, you know, as a fan of the game, there's just some players you like to watch, you know, and
it's that 100% true. I loved there are so many people I wanted to see. Like, look, I did talk about the Kalinowski and Smets match, but I did want to see Smets come out on top because I would have loved 100% to have seen him go up against Rachel in San Diego. Like that was without doubt like a dream match I didn't think I wanted at that time. And even then with Smets, like even during last season when you had brought Parker in, I would have loved to have seen Smets going up against Parker. Well, I shouldn't say would. I will love to see Smets go up against Parker on the Schmoedown. Like
someday it'll happen someday, man. I had a great line for Rachel if we were going to play her. It was something like, "Look at Rachel Cushing, thousands of, you know, she's the hero of 1,000 children who will go to bed crying tonight after she loses to Kevin Smets." It was something stupid like that. I can't remember something about being a hero to children who will all go to bed crying after she loses to Kevin Smets. And I told her, she's like, oh, that's cold. That's cold. Like, yeah, it would have been a good one. But no, Rachel's great, man.
For the live crowd, they definitely would have been like, what the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah, there's something wrong with us. No, me and Smets are clearly not nuts. We're two pieces.
Oh, looks like we have another appearance.
Oh, sorry, I was muted.
No,
yeah,
that's fine.
Me and Smet are pretty nuts, and it shows. Like, you got to believe that a little bit of that, character work. Your real personality bleeds into that. Like, So, I told. It's funny. I said this to Gucci yesterday. I said, in our sport, our uniforms are our characters. Right? We don't wear shoulder pads. We don't wear helmets. We don't come out with bats. And our uniform is our character. And you got to believe when you put on that character, you put on that uniform, you become that person for that hour or whatever it is. And you forget about everything else. You forget about the other guy. You don't think about the guy who's got to go pay his taxes tomorrow, got to go, go to the store and pick up, milk. Like, you are that guy for that hour. And so I think Smets and I leaned into it super, super hard. We believed it, and we had so much fun, man. And I don't think I'd be where I'm at in this game, in this sport today, if I didn't come out with someone like as passionate as Smash, like he really started the engine for me, man. And I'll always be grateful for him bringing this game into my life, because him and Christian Harloff changed me, man. Like, I never would have thought this was going to be my life, 3 years ago. But leave it to two lunatics like Harloff and Smets, who put this on me, Ricky Bobby. So there you go.
Yeah, I just can't wait for the rubber match between Mike and Smets.
Oh, it'll be a brawl, Ben. It'll be a brawl.
I do love that. I do want to say, like, talking about the energy and the passion, it definitely felt like that. I mean, like I said, I was there at San Diego. I saw that crowd. Moment Smets came out, they were there 100% behind Smets. I mean, no disrespect to Adam Lavik. The love was there, but it was clear that crowd was 100% behind him, especially as spectacular when he won the belt off of, like, Mike. After he said that last question in the speed round, seeing everybody in that crowd, the emotion that was just there was incredible. And I know, of course, as a wrestling fan, I posted on Wise of be like, Kevin was supposed to be like turning against everybody, but it was just like one of those moments to where this great plan was there, just the crowd wasn't feeling it.
Hey, man, we always were and we always will walk that fine line of love, hate, fan favorite, whatever, bad guy, good guy, whatever you want to call it. But I was pretty clear with Smets. I'm like, again, using the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors, as a reference. It's like they weren't anybody's friend. They weren't good. They weren't bad. They just wanted to go out and beat the hell out of everybody. And I said, that's our approach. That's how we're going to play this game. And that, the night he won the belt off of Mike, the minute we got in the car, we were in character. We were ready to go. Like that, we weren't shutting it off until he put that belt over his head. And then we could relax. I mean, we would listen to Black Sabbath from the time we left the house to the time we got to the theater. We were walking out with Black Sabbath on my phone. I'm in Smets' ear like this. And I'm like, we took it aggressively serious, because that's the only way you're going to beat a guy like Kalinowski. That guy's not going to let up. That guy's going to come at you with like a Mack truck. So if you're not, you got to hang with a guy like that. And so I'm proud of the way we played that match, and Smets was ready for him. Boy, it was his day, and he got his revenge for, the don't tell Peter bullshit.
And also, I mean, Smets, yeah, him, Kalinowski, great match, but also I did love the promos, the back and forth. I mean, not much back and forth, but like Kalinowski comes out, I'm hearing Ken speak. He's doing a good job, really like eating up with the crowd. And then you come out there and you're just tearing down almost corruption. It was just a joy to watch. Like, that's one thing I love looking back at all these Smets matches. I mean, knowing the fact that Smets, even though he's the player, you were Bobby Brahim, you were the mouth of the whole thing. You saying the platform, really presenting the stage. And then once that spotlight was on Smets, it was literally to where he could not. It's not like he couldn't meet the bar. He had to blow it out of the water. And
he loves it. He loves Ryan. He loves playing live. I mean, he honestly, it's a different game for him when he played Chandru, didn't go his way. It just wasn't our day. But I'll tell you, man, he's a different player live. When he loves the lights, he loves hearing his music. He loves popping that hoodie. He's just a whole different person. And he loves this game. He loves to compete, and it shows, man. I mean, it's going to be great to see him back on that stage someday, sooner than later, man. And I think he'll be ready. He's, like I said, he's training now, man. He's getting ready for his return. So,
and it definitely was difficult seeing the adjustment. I mean, of course, last year nobody could have fucking seen that coming. But I still love the exhibition matches he did. Him going up against Merle, Damon, and Roca was amazing, and he comes out winning, which is cool as well. I mean, I loved how it really spread like a fire. It really set a fire amongst the community to where everyone thought, "Oh my God, could Smets play in teams? Could he maybe play singles as well? Maybe see him and Dan go up against each other for the singles championship." Or at that time, Dan teased it going to Intergeekdom. We could have seen him going up against Smets. Like, yeah. I loved him in those exhibition matches. You're seeing him play against people who were mainly singles players, but like in the Star Trek match, he was up against Irwin, Jason Inman, and Whitney Seibold, who you would mostly see in singles matches outside. And Inman at the time, I'm like, this is like a dream match that we could have happened. And I do love the fact that
he's the unified champion of the world. Kevin Smets, still reigning unified champion of the Schmoedown.
Yeah, we have not seen another Battle of the Champions match yet. So for us, until I'm most likely assuming Christian's going to do that in studio or live for that moment. But even then, Kevin Smets, 100% unified, undisputed champion when it comes to that.
That's right. And I'll remind him of that today when we're eating dumplings and salmon belly. So I'll be. Matter of fact, maybe he'll pick up the tab, Mr. Unified Champion, Mr. Big Shot. You know what I mean? So.
Oh God, that's amazing. I know, Kaiser, you did say that you were like on the time with Ben. You anything you want to ask Kaiser?
You guys pretty much covered it all.
Man, once I open my mouth, Ben, I don't shut up. So I'm an ideal guest for you. You know what I mean? Just put the camera on and really, I don't. The best way to get rid of me is to use the Christian Harloff effect. Just drop me off the screen, and that's the end of that. So he's got it all figured out. Harloff knows how to handle me, but no, man. Look, it's I gotta say, it's been a freaking fun ride, and this community is fun and insane and wild, and the fact that you guys put time and effort into doing shows that celebrate what we do. It's a big deal. We see you. We see you out there doing your thing. So as much as you tip your hats to people like Kevin Smets and the Kalinowskis and Merles of the world, I tip my hat to you guys for keeping us relevant and making us a big deal. And we just hope everyone's enjoying the show, man. That's kind of where I stand. And let me tell you what, if you think Parker's revenge is ugly, get ready for the Smashers' revenge, because I'm a very lucky man. I mean, I don't know if it's always going to be this way, but I got the 3 greatest IG players in the world right now. I mean, Smets is there in spirit, right? He's in the front office, but it's
Thanos, once he gets out of his chair, big way.
Yeah, but in the meantime, I'm lucky that all that momentum that Smets and I created, we've been able to put into the dungeon this season in bringing back Parker, and then bringing on Mara and Ben and Dan. And I'm telling you, the reason we're in first place right now, and we're riding pretty good wave. We've had our ups, we've had our downs, but that's any sport. But I'll tell you this much: this team, this faction, would not be what it is if it wasn't for. You hear the pig? I'm trying to be all like celebrating. I got a pig squawking in the background. It wouldn't be what he does. Listen. I'm running out of blueberries. That's how I bribe him to shut up. what I'm saying is this faction wouldn't be where it is today, who it is today, if it wasn't for Smets making phone calls at the beginning of the year, trying to bring people together. Him and I really assembled this thing together. And so any success we have, you know, you got to thank people like Smets for reaching out and making people believe that this dungeon can win a faction title. And so far, you know, so good. We'll see where we land. And, you know, if we miss, man, we put our best foot forward and we assembled a great team and we worked our asses off. And we still think we'll be on the top of the heap at the end of it all. But it's been a wild ride, man. And I can't do it without the Smasher. And we'll just see what happens next season, baby. We'll see what happens next season.
But right now, I'm still enjoying the ride, honestly. Yeah, sure. We still got a long way to work towards the end, but right now, it's incredible, and there's still that part of me that's just waiting for that shoe to drop. Like when Christian goes live again, all of a sudden when he's just talking, lights will go out, and then all of a sudden we'll hear that Winter Soldier theme, and it's just
there's nobody makes an entrance like Kevin Smets. That's for damn sure.
That is 100%. But yeah, but before we end, I do. At least when it comes to Kevin Smets' entire career, I do want to talk about like one of the best things I've seen. I mean, he's played lights out in all of his matches. Like there's only been maybe like he's cleared out almost every category he had time from Marvel, MCU to Harry Potter, Middle Earth. I mean, he's been perfect on 4 separate occasions, seeing exactly just how intimidating he is. Just how passionate he plays this game. I love how watching every match, either it's an exhibition or it's a live studio match, knowing the fact is that when you're playing against Kevin, it's literally like going up against going up against the Road Warrior animal. This is someone going to bulldoze right through you, and you have 2 options. You gotta stand your ground and lock horns with him, or you get out of the way and. I mean,
he's definitely the Road Warrior animal of the duo. I'm the big mouth. You know, if you always watch those old Road Warrior promos, Hawk was the one who was really working the mic, and then, you know, Animal would come on and kind of put the final stamp on it. But that is our dynamic, and, you know, it worked for us. It helped kind of create that legend that is the Smasher, no doubt. And props to Lord Harloff for giving him the name the Smasher, because it really stuck. It really stuck.
I mean, I do have to ask, though. I mean, now that IG has expanded, I mean, you have said Kevin is, like, really studying, and I'm not trying to get any to, but I know you in the front office. Has there been moments, like, maybe during, like, a mock or when you're meeting with the faction, or when you're all meeting together, doing these mock-up matches, been a point to where anyone in the factions wants to say, can we just do, like, a quick one? And then all of a sudden the whole thing ends and it's like, wait, what just happened? You know, like
Smets, when Smets comes in, his time's limited. So he's like, all right, I'm gonna give you 30 Star Wars questions and then I gotta go. Or I'm gonna, you know, what do you want to do? You know, he's like, he'll send a text to Mara or Parker, like, what do you want to run? What do you know, he's all business when it comes down to that. His time's very limited these days. So yes, we certainly have some fun behind the scenes, but the way this season is going, you can't ever you can't take a breath. It's literally, it's pedal to the metal. It's full speed ahead, man. And if you get quiet or you rest on your laurels, someone's going to catch you. You know, there's too much competition this year. So to be honest with you, Smash has been all business in the training sessions. He wants a faction title too, man. Believe me, he's gonna be. If we win, he's a large reason we win, and he'll be celebrating with us. That's why we put him on the poster at the beginning of the year, lurking in the background. You know what I mean? So, he is the dungeon. Let's be real, man. I mean, and you know, someday Zipper and Oyama will be back in the dungeon too. That's just good storytelling. Bring our boys home.
Yeah, I would, when Christian does, does studio, I can't wait for him to get back on cutscenes, because I just love the cutscenes between Chandru, or when at the time when you were trying to recruit people into the dungeon, and of course during the shutdown where you and Brandon trying to recruit people, and then Kevin pops in and is like, what are you guys doing? And that's definitely big aspects of the Schmo I do miss. I love.
And he had a great cameo. Smets had a great cameo in the teams match, with Dan and the promo we did for the corruption match. So it was good to see. That's what we got to keep him in the public eye, man. He ain't going nowhere. You know that.
No. That still is not. He's still not leaving. But we should definitely wrap up now. Ben, any thoughts you have on us while we still have Kaiser?
Then keep doing what you guys do. You guys are awesome.
Hey Ben, thank you for reaching out to me, brother. I know we were trying to put this thing together and we had a limited time, but no, you guys are badasses. If you need me to come back here and make fun of Jay Washington or make fun of Kalinowski or make fun of Shannon, I would be happy to come just do the first annual Kaiser Schmoedown roast. We'll do it we'll do it on the Mount Schmoedown platform. Ben, let me know. We'll put it together.
Will do.
I mean, unfortunately, John's internet or his phone was like, "Hey, your time limit as well," so he cut it. I know John would have definitely have loved to have asked more questions, but I'm pretty sure he definitely with us in spirit. So definitely ever do ask you back. I'm gonna make John definitely has the floor the next time.
Hey man,
so the ring.
And you got to remember, John's an Italian. He's a paisan, so I feel like I owe him one now. You know what I mean? So I'm a half Italian. You know how that works. We're probably related. Where he's probably my cousin, and he's probably related to the Koshas of Ithaca, New York, or something. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. But tell John I owe him one.
Oh, we're definitely gonna relay that message. And look, I've said as much as I wanted to talk about, but signing off for everybody. Thank you so much for watching. We hope that you enjoyed interacting with each other in the chat. If you're rewatching this, please share it amongst anybody you know that loves the Schmoedown, that loves Kevin Smets, that loves the dungeon, that loves John Kaiser. And really, this has been incredible. So sign off for Ben, for Kaiser, and also for our co-host John. My name is Ryan. Thank you all so much for joining today, and have yourselves a great afternoon.
Yeah.